takes his final breath, something chilling happens behind the stone walls of the Vatican. A quiet alarm is triggered. Not a sound, but a set of actions that must begin immediately. There is no time for grief yet. The Church enters a fragile state, and any delay could open the doors to confusion, chaos, or even scandal. The very first task is to confirm, without any doubt, that the Pope is truly dead. This is not as simple as it sounds. For centuries, the Church feared impostors, rumors, and mistakes that could bring shame or division to the faithful. In the past, officials would enter the Pope's room, tap his forehead gently with a small silver hammer, and call out his name 3 times. If there was no answer, they declared him dead. Strange as it may sound, this wasn't superstition. It was control. It was about protecting the Church from the world's uncertainties. If you like this type of video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Today, the silver hammer is gone, but the tension remains. When Pope Francis died, a trusted cardinal entered the private chapel and followed a quiet but powerful ritual. He called out the Pope's baptismal name 3 times. "Jorge, are you dead?" There was no answer. And then came the solemn words, "I declare that His Holiness, Pope Francis, is truly dead." From that moment, the Vatican entered emergency mode. The Apostolic Palace was sealed. No one enters, no one leaves. Every document, every item, every key is accounted for. The man who confirms the Pope's death, known as the Camerlengo, now holds full responsibility for guarding the Church until a new leader is chosen. One wrong move now, and centuries of stability could crack open. There was a time when the passing of a pope felt like something out of a sacred legend. No sirens, no blinking machines. Just silence and a ritual steeped in centuries of tradition. The silver hammer, a small object, yet one of the most symbolic tools in the Catholic Church, was once used in a moment of deep solemnity. A cardinal would hold it with trembling hands and gently tap the Pope's forehead 3 times while calling his baptismal name. It was not meant to hurt. It was meant to confirm that even the highest man in the Church had returned to dust. This ritual, known as the Silver Hammer Protocol, carried more than just tradition. It carried weight. The death of a pope is not just a passing. It is the end of a chapter written over years of prayer, struggle, and leadership. But as the world evolved, so did the way the Vatican handled this sacred moment. Today, the Church uses science and silence. After calling out the Pope's name and receiving no answer, the Camerlengo may confirm death with a discreet but reliable tool, the electrocardiogram. It was used for Pope John Paul II in 2005, quietly measuring what the silver hammer once did with sound, the absence of life. More delicate. Every item the Pope owned becomes part of a sacred inventory. From personal notes to official letters, from gifts received to robes worn during historic events, nothing can be touched, removed, or even examined without permission. This isn't formality. This is defense. Throughout history, the death of a pope brought not just mourning, but risk. In earlier centuries, chaos often followed. Thieves would sneak into Vatican rooms to steal jewelry, manuscripts, or other holy artifacts. Some even tried to forge documents using the Pope's seal, causing confusion and scandal across nations. That's why the Church developed strict security traditions. And even today, in a world of cameras and alarms, those ancient habits remain in place. Guards are stationed. Access is restricted. The Pope's private chambers are not entered alone, always with witnesses. If even a single object goes missing, it could damage the credibility of the Church. But the protection goes beyond physical items. It includes secrets, private letters, confidential instructions, even the Pope's thoughts and spiritual notes. These are handled with care and often sent to the Vatican archives, sealed for decades or forever. This moment is not just about honoring the dead. More than any crown or robes Pope Francis passed, the task fell to Cardinal Farrell the Camerlengo. He stood before the gathered cardinals and lifted the sacred ring one last time. It had sealed encyclicals, official messages, and private appointments. It had represented the voice of nearly 1 billion Catholics. And then, in one controlled, silent act, it was destroyed. Some say it was broken with a hammer. Others believe it was cut into pieces in the shape of a cross, as had been done with Pope Benedict XVI. But how it was done doesn't matter as much as why. The destruction was witnessed, documented, and confirmed. From that moment on, any document bearing that seal would be known as false. With the ring gone, a chapter ends. The Pope's voice is silenced. The Church now turns toward its next uncertain steps. They don't speak, they don't cry, they don't move, but their presence says everything. The Swiss guards, dressed in their heavy armor and gripping long spears, are not just symbols for the Pope, ready to defend him with their lives. Stillness is more powerful than words. Of history. In 1527, during the brutal sack of Rome, guards refused to leave the basilica. When Pope Francis passed away, he made it known. He did not want gold, silver, or heavy symbols. He asked for simplicity to meet burial requirements, but free of the heavy adornment. Man, choosing a modest apartment over the papal palace, wearing simple shoes, riding in a regular car. And so, even in death, he rejected extravagance. His body was placed in a plain wooden coffin, lined with zinc to meet burial requirements, but free of the heavy adornments used in the past. It was a powerful image. No compassion, who saw glory not in type. People from all walks of life passed by. Rich prepares to lay him to rest, but not where many expected. Underneath the grand marble floors of St. Peter's Basilica lies a forgotten world. Most visitors to the Vatican will never see it. They walk and protected with the highest, preserved in darkness, and guarded from the 23 predecessors. Instead, he chose the Basilica of St. Mary Major, a holy place he had visited over 100 times during his papacy. It was a decision filled with meaning. Pope followed that path until Francis. His choice wasn't about breaking rules. The Pope is buried and the mourning fades into whispers. Enter the Sistine Chapel carrying centuries of tradition, the hopes of the faithful. It's literal. Each cardinal writes a name on a ballot, folds it, and places it on a plate. The world sees only smoke. I is watched like never before. For hours, sometimes days, it remains unchanged, just quiet gray. Of the beginning of something for 1 billion people worldwide. Behind the scene moment that stops time. The people and offers his first smoke. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to click the like and subscribe button.